of foul language are you using?
In the name of the I shall stick this into your
What you've done has brought new hope to the underworld. As Wildfire's leader, I couldn't simply look on while you fought on our behalf. We had to come help.
Huh? So you're the real chief? What about
Damn.
Oleg has always acted on my behalf. He helps me deal with all manner of problems in the underworld. Thanks to him, I'm able to make time for the people. In the meantime, I'm sending someone I trust to go with you.
Seela?
She's actually very discerning and can read a situation like no one else. You also have Bronya now. It seems like the intel we got from Svarog caused her a significant shock. But with Seela by her side, I know she'll recover.
Over there. See that? That used to be
Ow.
the worst street in Rivet Town. My friends and I used to wander those streets, thinking about where to find our next meal. That is, until Chief Oleg got me out and took me to the orphanage. There, I learned to read and write from Natasha. At the age of 10, I started to patrol the mines with Oleg, occasionally getting into fights with the local thugs.
That sounds nice.
Nice? You being sarcastic with me?
Oh, no, sorry. Life in the underworld is difficult. I shouldn't be speaking about it so lightly.
You're always so serious. It really gets on people's nerves sometimes, you know?
I kind of envy you, Seela. For as long as I can remember, my days have been an endless cycle of studying, etiquette lessons, and training. Every day, all I hear is, "Remember who you are, Bronya. This is against the Architect's admonishments, Bronya. Ladies shouldn't use such foul language, Bronya." Some may envy this kind of life, but I have felt trapped. When every choice and every goal has already been made for you. You probably can't imagine how that feels.
No, I can't. But more importantly, what kind of foul language are you using?
In the name of the Architects, I shall stick this spear into your nostril.
That's it? Oh, that's nothing. Looks like I'll have to teach you some underworld slang before you go back.
No, that won't be necessary.
I never thought that I'd be here having a heart-to-heart with the future Guardian. As a kid, I didn't meet many people who lived in the overworld. I only heard stories from the grown-ups and figured you were all just a bunch of cold snobs.
We can definitely go back to the time when you and I were not divided. When we could stand side by side against the Eternal Freeze and the Fragmentum.
I'm not like you. I don't have that many grand plans for the future. But if that's the future you want, I'm willing to build this bridge with you.
Thank you, Seela. Your trust
I
is
approve of this.
very important to me.
Speaking of which, what are you going to do next?
She blushed.
What Svarog revealed must have made quite an impact, huh?
Yes. I thought I was prepared for anything, but as long as I am the Guardian's successor, those truths will come out sooner or later. But why does my mother hide it from me, and why does she want me to hunt down the outsiders who know about the nature of the Stellaron? It doesn't make sense. There's only one thing I can do. Go ask her directly.
Hold on, you're not really going, are you? Alone? You can't. This plan is...
I've already thought it through, Seela. I am Madame Kokolia's daughter. That will never change. Be it my duties as her heir or as a Silvermane guard. I must face my problems head on. This is for you, Seela. Please help me pass it on to the outsiders. If I am unable to see you again, they'll know what to do.
Okay, I understand. You've made up your mind, and there's nothing I can say that will change it. But remember this. If you run into trouble, I will come to save you, no matter what.
Then I'll be waiting for you.
I ship it.
Took you long enough, sleepyhead. We've been waiting all day.
What about Bronya? Why isn't she here?
She already went back. As you know, she has some things to settle with the Supreme Guardian.
What? She just ditched us and went back? How could you let her?
Exactly. She has a lot of responsibilities. Oh, right. Bronya told me to give you this.
Calyx March Dunhung. By the time you read this letter, I should have returned to the overworld and be on my way to see my mother. I apologize for not telling you of my plan. I was afraid that you would strongly object, which might sway my resolve. Madame Cocolia raised me up, and I will never be able to repay her kindness. She taught me countless life lessons and virtues, as well as how to defend Belobog and its people. Even though she has lately made certain decisions that puzzled me, I can't let go of all the precious memories I have with her. I must communicate my point of view and thoughts to her honestly, and seek to arrive at a mutual understanding with her. This is my goal as a daughter, but also my duty as a Silvermane guard. But I am well aware of the risks I might face on this journey, so if I fail to win my mother's approval, or if something happens to me, please forward this letter to the Landau siblings and ask for their help. Serval and Gepard are honorable people with enormous power in Belobog, and I have complete faith in them. I'm sure they will unreservedly help you in your search for the Stellaron once they see my seal in handwriting.
I know the brother must refer to Gepard, but who could the sister be? Oh, Serval! So she's Gepard's older sister. Blonde, tall, good-looking.
Oh my god.
Landau genes sure are something
March!
else.
This isn't the time! Natasha!
According to my patient records, there are a few that haven't come for their follow-up visits. Have you heard of the Complex Illness Mutual Aid Society? I've got a few patients who have started refusing treatment since joining the society.
I am concerned by this. Is this an anti-vax group?
No one's ever willing to tell me anything about it.
I've seen you in the clinic. You run errands for Natasha, right? Let me guess. Natasha wants you to persuade me to go back for a follow-up visit, right? What's the use? I'm terminal.
Oh god.
Life will be over before I know it. I read it in a book.
What?
Every book I read has descriptions that match my symptoms exactly. I can diagnose myself with a dozen incurable
Oh my
diseases before I get halfway
god.
through.
He's using WebMD.
Dr. Vache never charged me anything either. Natasha's great, but Vache was always my number one. Natasha's brother? Dr. Vache was a people's doctor. He handed out free medicine. They say that Dr. Vache made all his own medicine himself.
This is exceedingly sus.
I heard that Natasha had something to do with Dr. Vache's death. They say she was jealous that her brother had stolen her patients.
What?
So I don't think Dr. Natasha could do something like that. Forget I said anything. I'll do her a favor. I'll go to the clinic for my follow-up a little later.
Natasha's a wonderful girl. She always gives me a thorough checkup. But at this age, it's rather a lot to bear. It's off for another follow-up visit with Dr. Natasha, I suppose.
I don't need Dr. Natasha's help now. Tell her to save her worries and medicine for other people. Did you, know Dr. Vache? His wonder medicine is cheap, and the results are immediate. You just need to, be willing to, take a little risk.
Very sus.
What? Now you're interested in the wonder medicine? I can tell you where they trade, but there's a rule. You must not tell any of this to Dr. Natasha.
So the Mutual Aid Society found Vache's research results, and now they're selling this so-called wonder medicine to patients? Any organization doing something like this is interested in more than just mutual aid. I warned the patients countless times, but seems like they had their heads in the sand all along. No wonder they kept the Mutual Aid Society a secret from me.
Some people say that Dr. Vache was a saint who came from the overworld to help those in need. I don't buy it. People's doctor, that's just what people who've bought into the myth like to say. Vache used to distribute free medicine all the time, but he couldn't have cared less about the people taking the medicine.
Oh.
The hard truth is that we were just his test subjects.
The medicine Vache left behind? That stuff... Can you even call it medicine? I know Dr. Natasha's here, but I have to tell it like it is. Vache had zero medical ethics. He didn't deserve the title doctor.
I still haven't worked out how to convey it to you. The issues surrounding Vache. I want you to go and visit another patient, a victim of the wonder medicine. I want you to see the real consequences of abusing that medicine. Once you've understood her situation, come back and tell me what you think.
Where's my husband? And where's my child? Where are they? You don't know. They don't know.
Oh, God.
Nobody knows. Where? Where did they go?
Poor lady. Both her husband and child became ill and passed away. They needed to get treatment every now and then in order to try and rid themselves of the ailment once and for all. They bought some kind of wonder medicine. Who would have thought their condition would deteriorate so rapidly after they began using it? The two began to suffer terribly, such that death then became a blessing from that moment on. Oh, she became as you see her now.
Did you speak to her? By the look on your face, I'm assuming you've come to understand the wonder medicine all too well. Let me tell you a story. There was once a brilliant overworld doctor with unmatched pharmaceutical skill. The doctor was set on developing a medicine that would steel the human body against the cold. He named his research project Blizzard Immunity. But his research met with obstruction time and time again, the biggest factor being a lack of test subjects. Tampering with the human immune system carries huge risk, and nobody in the overworld was willing to submit themselves to such experiments. As such, the doctor got in touch with his sister in the underworld, claiming that he wanted to support the medical effort below ground. Naturally, his sister was overjoyed. After all, as far as medicine was concerned, her brother had always been the standard she'd strive to attain. She brought her brother underground and entrusted him with her clinic and laboratory. I think you know what comes next. Patients with mild illness would attribute their recovery to the so-called wonder medicine, while patients with serious illness would quickly deteriorate and sometimes die. That's why I want you to help me recover all the wonder medicine.
Ho-ho! Playing the... Wait a minute, you're that clinic woman's lackey, aren't you? She's after our medicine and sent you here to smash the place, right? Men, look like...
The old box has some medicine labeled with experiment numbers. This must be the wonder medicine the Mutual Aid Society was talking about. You suddenly hear footsteps behind you.
Well, look who we have here. Your reputation precedes... Why are you taking away our moneymaker?
Moneymaker? So you admit it then? You're not in this to save lives, you're in it to get rich.
What are you doing here? Oh, so stubborn. In that sense, you're no different from your crazy brother.
I'll take that as a compliment. Now I need to focus on treating the patients and dispelling their doubts. Let's leave it for now. I, actually grew up in the orphanage. It wasn't until I was adopted by an overworld family that life changed for me. My adoptive mother always saw me as her own flesh and blood. And Vache loved me like a sister. That is, while we were still young. My adoptive parents belonged to a prominent medical family. As kids, we were exposed to all kinds of medical texts. When we were older, both of us got straight into Belobog's medical school. We were on a path into the medical profession. Ever since he was little, Vache had always wanted to develop a medicine called Blizzard Immunity. He saw the human body's vulnerability to cold as a disease, and wanted to cure it so that humanity could survive the eternal freeze. To be honest, I never understood how he'd achieve that Blizzard Immunity, but I do admire that vision and perseverance. I always chose to believe him, ever since I was a kid. I knew his research in the overworld wasn't going well. I used to write to him and ask him to come down and stay with the kids in the orphanage for a while. I thought it might help take his mind off his research, but I was too young to know what long-term frustration could do to a person. It changed him. In a terrible way. He had been doling out the reagents to residents who were kept in the dark. When it finally struck me that something was wrong, his terrible research had already turned him into a madman. We spent ages trying to find a way to handle Vache. In the end, Oleg suggested that we banish him and permanently deny him access to the underworld. He made his final request to us. To take him outside the city to the snow plains he'd always wanted to conquer. His figure gradually disappeared into the snow curtain. I've been telling myself that Vache is dead ever since.
Damn.
Vache was a terrible brother and a worse doctor. That's all you need to know. Let's call it a day. Thank you for cleaning up the mess my brother left behind.
Alright guys, we're doing a poll. No! I got Sushang. Alright. Oh no, I got Sushang and him! What? What? Okay, that's dope. That's dope as fuck. Alright. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for being awesome and for hanging out with me for a while this evening. We actually did get the new character. That's really dope. I'm gonna see about tinkering with him and figuring out stuff, so that should be fun. But for now, thank you all so much for hanging out with me for a while. Thank you for being awesome, and I will see you next time. Have a good night.